Hey, welcome back. Let's try that again. We had some technical difficulties, so we had to get started all over again. But we here, ready to unpack these great topics. So let me get started. You know me, the one and only Lala in the building, ready to unpack everything. What's up with my crew, y'all? What's up?
And that was good.
Really?
Ain't shit. Driving
Tudy
home.
usually goes first. I was waiting for her.
Who are you?
Tudy usually goes first. I was waiting for her. And it's tourist season, so I was being a gentleman.
My name is Tamika, the favorite tourist reader. It's tourist season, and that bald man is Shamita God.
Gemini season approaching.
Oh boy, we doing this still.
I'm not
All
old.
right. So, as y'all can see, we changed the time a little bit today just so that y'all can watch the next game. And as you can see, it wasn't really a good one, but we coming back. Don't
Hold
worry.
on, let me turn
Stay
the TV off.
positive, right? Child, stay positive. They
Yeah,
doing what they
but
need to do.
not a Knicks fan.
I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm a diehard Lakers fan. However, I wanted, I live in New York. I'm from New York, so
New
I could.
Jersey.
I'm sorry. I'm from New York. So let's give New York some shine if they deserve it. It's been a long time coming. So, brothers and sisters, today we're going to talk about accountability, right? So, accountability, is that something that's difficult for people to even acknowledge?
Yeah,
And let's talk about it. Let's unpack that.
I think some people are not, especially somebody that's like manipulative, narcissistic. They won't take accountability for their actions in a situation, especially when it's bad. So, like that, they don't have to deal with the consequences of their actions. They won't take the accountability for what it was that they done to at least fix it. So I do feel people really don't know how to take accountability for their actions.
So when we talk about accountability, right, we can talk about accountability from different perspectives, right? We can talk about accountability when it comes to being in a relationship. We could talk about accountability when it comes to a business, when it comes to coworkers or work or not maintaining your responsibility at work. But a lot of times, I think sometimes people don't even understand what it means to be accountable for certain things, right? So let's have some conversations about what that looks like. Let's unpack how some examples of what that may look like when we talk about people not being able to 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 take accountability for their actions. I mean, we can talk about holding people accountable for their actions, but we're talking about acknowledging your own accountability. So, who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Shaw.
She always says that. I was just waiting for her to say it. I mean, accountability is a tough thing, but I'm accountable to people that I have a close relationship with
Mhm.
because I feel a need to out of my loyalty. So if I contribute to something that caused a rift in our relationship, then I'll be accountable if I really feel like I did something. The only time I'm not gonna be accountable is when it's a cause and effect thing. So you do something and then I do something worse. Like, nah, you're not holding me accountable for what I did because it was a reaction. So the situation was caused by something. Like, I'm not gonna be accountable on some. Nah, I shouldn't did that. Like, nah. But if I'm the cause of it, I'm quick to apologize or make things right if I really feel that I did something that I need to be accountable for. And if I'm not conducting myself in relationship wise a certain kind of way, and my lady does something, then I'm accountable for what contributed to her decision, even though I don't feel like she should have made it. You on
I'm
mute?
not taking.
Why don't you give us some examples? Because I feel like it's easy to say something about what not holding or not being held accountable or not being accountable for your actions, but give us something that we can understand better. And
Like relationship
anyone on
wise?
Instagram, hold on, anyone on Instagram and Facebook would like to join, let us know. We'll send you the link. But go ahead,
You mean like relationship wise?
pick one.
I mean, in relationship wise, you hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, my girl's out doing this, my girl's out doing that," but they not giving her the attention that she needs to feel like she can get whatever she needs at the house. I think sometimes, so she might do something that you don't like, but you need to be accountable for the reason why she's doing it. Like as an example, sometimes people contribute to other people's behavior through negligence, through silence, through neglect, through a lot of things. So that's the point where, yeah, you can be mad at the person, but you need to take accountability for the role you played in almost
Mhm.
forcing that person to make that particular decision, and it happens a lot.
Mhm. I agree.
So if I had to give you a scenario, right? Two people in a relationship, right? And the other person is failing to um, engage in, the physical aspect of a relationship, the intimacy, right? And this prolonged for some time, right? And a man being a human being, how long how long do he think he can wait from being rejected from the woman that's in his household? Now, when he steps outside the relationship, not justifying his behavior, but is there some accountability on her part?
Yes.
Yeah, and
Depending on the scenario.
yeah.
Huh? Say it again.
Go ahead, Tootie.
I say yes, depending on the scenario.
Hmm.
This could be if she needs to take accountability, if there's nothing wrong with her, right? And she's just like, ugh, I don't want to. And if he goes out and cheats, she needs to take accountability for why. Because if your man is here consistently asking you that he wants to be intimate with you, and you're only giving it to him twice a month, and you know that your man is the type of person that he needs it occasionally, and you keep denying and denying, that's showing that he's gonna feel rejected. That's rejection. So
Hmm.
now, as a man, because it's not only women, men do tend to feel away, and they might have some insecurity problems, and he might just go out and cheat. Is that right for him to do that? No. But if he does, she has to take accountability for it because she wasn't doing her part when it came to that situation.
So at what
Now,
point?
if
Go
she
ahead.
was a woman, now I could understand. And me and Shamik was having this conversation the other day. If this is a woman that like let's say she just had a baby and she's going through postpartum depression, as a man, you need to look up what's postpartum depression and help her. If she
Hmm.
doesn't want to have sex, it's because she has a baby and she's having a very a chemical imbalance right now. And as the man, and you see that she's not acting the same and she's not trying to be intimate, and the doctor has specifically told you your wife or your girl is going through postpartum depression, and he goes out and cheats, and he has to be accountable for that. Because as a man, you're supposed to sit and say, okay, I understand that she's going through a chemical imbalance, postpartum depression. Look up what is postpartum depression and do your best to help her. Don't add more to the fire.
Okay, that's fair. So what happens when so I think that so okay, so that scenario, right? You would find that, one would perceive it to be um a justification for stepping outside, right? When I'm talking about the first scenario, right? Because when you're in a relationship, even if it's in a marriage, you're supposed to understand or be able to deal with better or worse when it comes to circumstances, right? However, I think the reality falls on the fact that people are human beings, right? We get caught up in relationship status, a marriage, and sometimes people religiously get caught up in the vows of the marriage, and oftentimes, it's like, well, I took a vow, but that means I'm not human. Like I can't make mistakes, so I can't, like, I don't have desires and wants. When people have desires and wants and don't know how to, kind of subside it and just kind of not feel it because you want what you want, right? So I think that, when it comes to accountability pertaining to relationships, I do think that everyone in a relationship, both parties should be able to take accountability for the role that each person plays in the demise or even the conflict that may arise dealing with any issue, not just sex, right? Just any issue, right? We do know that a lot of times when it comes to people and emotions and trauma, people respond accordingly, right? And sometimes they don't know how to explain what it is that they're doing, right? I think I made a statement earlier that hurt people, and a lot of times I had someone say they didn't agree with it because they feel like that's an excuse for someone to hurt somebody else, right? But when you recognize what it is that occurs in your life that causes you to be the way you are, then you're able to identify that I'm going to take accountability for my behavior because I wasn't aware that some of my trauma or some of the things that I experienced in my childhood causes me to react in the way that I react. is it right? It's not right, right? And that's why sometimes it's important that we encourage people to get help and seek other, other people to help guide them through the things that they're going through. But that's one component of accountability, right? So we can switch from intimate relationship to friendship,
Mhm.
right? Um, and most friendship, there's an expectation of how one should treat or one should be based on how you treat somebody, right? How I define my friendship may be different than how you define yours, right? And you shall just define yours, right? What my expectation in my friendship is to me, you may not understand, right? And maybe I've never explained it to you. So for me to want certain things from you or expect certain things from you without having that conversation, to me would be a problem, right? Especially if you're not meeting my expectation, right? So then in turn, I have to take accountability for not sharing or communicating with you what it is that I want from my friendship for us to move forward with our friendship, right? You understand that, what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I mean, I think that even from a work perspective, right? A lot of times people uh, are wrong and strong when they do certain things they're not supposed to do. I'm not gonna say work. I'll just say professional, right?
Mhm.
And it could be certain things that are guidelines and people don't follow it, right? But they don't want to take accountability because a lot of times when a person is unable to to be accountable for what they do, it's a lot of times pride, right? Pride plays a role in it, right? You don't want to deal with the consequences of owning whatever it is that you may have done, right? You don't want to own the consequences of whatever role you may have played on, whether it be a job, a relationship, a friendship, a parenting style, right? So if that is something, then how do you think a person can I guess unpack that the lack of ability to hold themselves accountable for their actions?
What
What?
now?
You're not paying attention?
Yeah, I just didn't understand it. And but I'll comment on it too. Some sometimes relationship or friendship, two people aren't accountable. Sometimes it's just one person. People want to talk about what the other person did to justify their dumbass action, but that ain't always the case.
Right.
No dual accountability. Sometimes one, and that one person can mess up bad enough to ruin everything.
Hmm.
That's a vicious dog you got over there. That dog bite? No, just asking.
No, I'm not. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so sometimes that's what it. And I hate when people try to do something and try to use their excuse for it as something that you didn't do. Like, nah, we're not doing that.
What you mean? What do you mean?
Like people will do stuff, and their defense mechanism is, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do that, so that's why I did it. Nah, you did it because you did it.
Right.
And if somebody does something, you need to address it, bring it up. You can't silently go and just go do something else. So like back to my example with the relationship thing, if I'm not giving you enough time, if every time you say let's go to the movies, I'm like, nah, I'm busy, and you find some dude to go with, before that happens, you should be like, listen, you're not giving me this, this, and this. Back to your explanation in terms of communicating with a friend. So before you go do some goofy tit for tat, you need to let the person know, because sometimes people don't know what they're doing. They're used to living their lives in a certain kind of way. So if you don't address the situation and let them know that your needs and wants aren't matching up with what they're doing, then then that's not right either.
So what happens when people are communicating, right? Because yeah, there are situations where people don't communicate. They don't say what they want. It's a buildup, and as I stated before, it's an expectation, right? I expect you to know. I expect you to read my mind and know what it is that I need you to do, right? So what happens when those conversations are had, right? What happens? Okay, I'll give you another example. What happens in situations where a person is rejected, right?
That's the part where I say the other person ain't wrong. That's that cause and effect. So I address you. I tell you what I need and want. You ignore me. Everything after that is not my fault. It's yours. Ain't
What?
none for me to account.
What?
Once you make
So that
somebody,
means their
once,
actions. So hold on, wait.
once you make somebody aware of where they're falling short in terms of your needs and wants, and they don't fulfill them or they don't do anything and they think that they could just keep doing what they're doing, it's their fault.
So what
And
I'm
I think
hearing you
that goes
say
for
is
friendship and relationships.
right. So
Fact.
what I'm hearing you say is if you communicate to me what it is that you need or want from me, and I reject you or ignore you, then it is my fault that you step outside or you end the friendship.
Yes, cause effect. If I tell you there's a certain amount of time I want to talk to you every day, there's certain things that we need to do once a month on a date night. We're in a relationship. This is what I want, and you don't do it, then you've dissolved and ended the relationship.
So what about a marriage?
Same thing. Marriage is just
I
a
think
word.
I think with and I think with that, with marriage, it becomes even more because it's like you married me. We're married now. We're on this document, and it's for better or worse through sickness and health or whatever. But and when you married me, this is what was expressed to you. You understand? Before I got married, now we here on this in this marriage, and you're not trying to sit and live up to, or at least even try to give me what it is that I need when it comes to a relationship. And now it's like fuck, I'm stuck. I'm kind of stuck because now if it's not working and you're not satisfying me in whichever way I need to be satisfied, even if not only sex, you understand? Sometimes people just need that time and some type of affection. And if you're married and you sitting here and you're not giving me that, it's gonna be harder because now people gotta pay for divorces and shit like that. Now I'm not saying to hurry up and jump and leave. If you're sitting and you're doing everything in your power to make it work and you're expressing yourself and you're telling him or her, this is what it is that I need this for us to make through, for us to go through, and they're not even trying to make an effort, even if he or she decides to get a divorce after that, the other person has to take accountability for it. When it comes to friends, I was saying this earlier. If you've known me 5 years plus and you around me all the time, and I've said, and there's things that I don't like, there's things that could be a trigger, there's things that I don't agree with, there's things that don't fall right, and you go and you do it knowing that I don't like that and I don't fuck with you, you got to take accountability for that.
And you got to take accountability for the consequences that come because you did it.
Because you did it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I
the
mean,
consequence, as a friend, the consequence could be I don't fuck with you, I'm gonna beat your ass. Either way.
and like to me,
But
like
I'm
if you
sorry.
my girlfriend, right, and let's say we're together 4 years and we decide to get married, there's no extra love in the reserve tank once we get married. Like you're marrying the person that you was dating in your relationship with. So don't
Hmm.
all of a sudden get married and now you have this great expectation like, oh,
That
we're married.
right. Now I got all these needs out of nowhere.
And this goes back to our first podcast when I say that when you dating, you're exclusively dating in order to go to the next place.
Nah,
In
we're not
order
doing
to, in
that.
order to get a,
How we not doing that?
now
But
we
go
got to
ahead.
go back because I kind of like that episode. I want them to go back and watch it. Go ahead and watch it. It's on YouTube. Y'all like that. But
Right.
you have to, if you want to be a wife, you have to act like a wife before you're a wife to show what you're going to be as a wife. That's kind of the thing. And if you put unrealistic expectations on somebody because of a title, you're gonna lose.
Hmm.
Because at the
Hmm.
end of the day, that person is that person. So whether it's husband or boyfriend, that person is that person. So if
So
you think we get married, things are gonna totally change. He's gonna call all his female friends off. You're delusional.
I mean, I think I agree that, there shouldn't be genuine expectations once you get married, especially after a certain age. Like, this is who you are, this is who we are. We have decided that we're going to mesh together and become one in a union. Then at that point, we should know each other. The unrealistic expectations or the additional things that the fairy tale or things that you see on TV that you think is supposed to be what a relationship is, I don't agree with.
Hmm.
However, but what I will say is this, right? I do think that in relationship you should hold yourself accountable for the role that you play in any situation that causes the demise of it. I don't feel like I should be blamed because you cheated because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. Now, can I acknowledge that and take accountable for playing a role in it? I can, but I'm not jacking. It's my fault that you decided to go slip up in somebody else
Why not?
because
It could be though.
But if that's the case, then why don't you end the relationship?
You might not, but
But
that's not
then,
the
but
point.
it's not that
So,
easy
but
to do
so
that with you.
even if
That's not
he
the point,
cheats,
though.
even
That's
if he cheats or ends the relationship, you still gotta take accountability,
yeah, because whichever direction it goes, it's over.
whichever direction it goes,
But
right? Then you gotta.
that's not necessarily true.
So if he goes and he says, I want to leave this relationship because you're not satisfying me when it comes to this and da 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 da. He's not cheating. You're like, why you're leaving me? You're, oh my God, why are you leaving me? What's going on? And he's telling you, you have to take accountability because he has told you plenty of times this
But
is the
that's
problem.
different, Mika. That's different, though. I'm not. I think that communicating what your feelings are and what you need before you get to that breaking point where you say, "Listen, I gotta go. I can't take this no more," is different than communicating and not getting a response and stepping outside while you're still engaged in your relationship. That's two different things.
Why is
So
it?
if
There
I'm
should
saying,
be some,
okay,
because what I'm saying is that if I'm in a situation, okay, I'll give you an example. Because most people, if they take accountability, they're probably not going to exit the relationship because they took account. They are held accountable for the role they play, and they can work together to move on.
right?
Right? Most of the time, if you can take, if you can hold yourself accountable for the action, right? I'll give you a scenario. Two people in a relationship. He's been like, "Yo, I need you, I need you, I need you," and she's just like, "You'll be all right, one day, right?" And he has a demanding job where he knocks on people's doors and he has to help people. I don't know, the security guy, the home security service, the cable guy, the Verizon guy, the solar panels guy, right? Any type of job where you have to go and engage with people in their home, right? And what's going to take is that one person that's going to see you and think that you look good and say, "Hey, why are you so sad? Why you look so sad?" Right? What's going on? And all he can say or she can say is, "I'm just having some problems at home. Things is just not right. And that person at that very moment has you in a vulnerable state and will say everything and anything just to get in the mental. And that's a fact. If I was your woman or if I was your man, you would be going through all of that, right? And at that vulnerable moment is when that person would make a decision, right? Now, when that other person finds out that this is what transpired, now everybody's upset and everybody's sad, right? But the reality is, it's nothing wrong with saying, "You know what, I wasn't playing my part." Right? Do I like that you stepped out on me? No. Do I think that is right? No. But what role did I play in that situation? Right? I wasn't able to give my person what they needed when they needed it, and it was. I think it's a time frame, right? Because if I tell you no 30 days or something's going on, and maybe I didn't share with you, I don't think that's a pass to go out. But I take that back. I think that there should be some rules in a relationship, a marriage, when it pertains to intimacy. And I think that if you are not going to satisfy your person, then you should be able to get a pass to step out. That's just
Wait, huh? I'm kind of confused.
Mike. Yo,
But
Shy, why are you
right.
looking like that?
Because those people don't need to be married.
I'm just saying. I'm okay. So you say that, but you
So
also
wait.
just
So
said that if
in what
somebody,
part?
hold on,
In what part?
you just said you just said that if you in a relationship and you tell that person that you need A, B, C, D, F, G, and that person rejects you and that person don't give you what you want and you step out, it's that person's fault. That's what you just said.
That's exactly what I
She
said.
has to take accountability for why. Not again. We're not saying what he did is okay. It's not okay. Because if you're not happy and if there's something going on in your relationship that you've expressed and you see that the person is not doing what it is that you're requesting,
Mm-hmm.
you could just leave, right? You could just leave. And when that person leaves and I don't understand what's going on and he expresses to me again, this is
Mm-hmm.
why I have to take accountability for that. Now, if he goes out and he cheats and tells me why he cheats, I'm gonna be upset because nigga, you didn't have to cheat. You could have just left me. He has to take accountability to what happens, what I do after I find out he cheats. But I have to take accountability to why he was so vulnerable to sit and go out and do that.
Right. So you mean you're referring to the consequences. But in a marriage, it's not that easy to just walk away. So we can talk
It's
about
not,
relationship
but
dynamics.
somebody still has to take accountability.
Oh, absolutely. I think both parties need to take accountability. You cannot tell me, you
He
know.
has to take
So
accountability.
wait. Hold on, Nika. So Sha, just to be clear, because you just said you don't agree. So what I'm hearing you say is that you tell your woman you need something, certain things, and she's just like, whatever, and has no regards for your feelings, right? She
Over
doesn't,
the time, of course, yeah.
of course, over a certain time. She has no
Mhm.
regards for your feelings, right? And you make a conscious effort to step outside of that relationship, right? You're basically telling me that if she finds out what transpired, right, she's the only one that should be held accountable because she's to blame. That's what
Yes,
you just said.
yes.
So your actions is justified.
Because I believe in cause and effect.
So
So
your actions are
without the
justified.
cause, it doesn't matter justification or not. Without the cause, there is no effect. So we're not going to do a double accountability shit because without the rejection, without you not catering to whatever it is we've established, without you not doing that, it doesn't happen.
So if the shoe was on the other foot and she did that to you, you would just take it. You would eat it because it's your fault.
I mean, the honest answer is it wouldn't happen because if she came and told me the things that she needed and I cared about her enough, I would do them. So I wouldn't put her in that position. And if I didn't do them, I wouldn't care if she stepped out because in my heart I already know she is because I'm not fulfilling her. So in my scenario, it would be totally different. I believe in communication.
That's just so politically correct. You hear him, Mika? Like,
It's
I
right.
feel
look,
the only way he has to the only thing he has to take accountability for is her actions, that what she does when she finds out he cheated. You
So
have to take, if you go and you tell me, oh, I cheated because you wasn't da 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 da, I'm gonna take accountability for why you did it. But when you did, I'm not gonna sit and tell you it's okay. You didn't have to cheat. So if I fuck you up after you told me you cheated on me, you gotta take accountability for why you got fucked up.
all right,
But I'm gonna take the accountability because of you. You was telling me for a very long time. I could have avoided me fucking you up and going to jail and you taking accountability for fucking you up if I would have did my part. And as the wife or the woman that loves my man and sees that my man is struggling or is having an issue with our relationship, and I don't do it, I gotta take accountability for why he was so vulnerable to do that.
I agree.
You understand?
But
But
Shy
now
is
he
saying,
doesn't have to take. Uh huh.
But Shy is saying that
no,
no, it's no double.
don't
You
get
just said it's no double. You said it's no
let
double
me
accountability.
let me explain. Let me say something else too to put it in proper perspective. And this is just my opinion. People always throw this cheating word around. Cheating on someone is when someone is there thinking that y'all are both engaged and thinking they're fulfilling your needs and you step out. Cheating is not we're having discussions, we're beefing for 6 months, you're not doing what we talked about and what I need, and I step out. That is not cheating to
Are
me.
you still in the relationship?
You're
Doesn't
still
matter.
in the relationship.
Are you
A
still?
Um,
It does matter if you're because people beef all the time.
Let me finish.
People have. Hold on. Let me land.
You cutting
People.
me off the land. You know that, right? And you're about to go somewhere where this is don't need to go. Because people use the word relationship like you live in the same roof and y'all are there. That shit could be a total dysfunction. And I'm not talking about an argument here, an argument there. I'm talking about we have an established thing that you are not fulfilling me doing. You're not giving me enough time, attention, whatever it is, over a substantial amount of time. Relationship word or not, nigga, there's no longer a relationship because it's not mutually beneficial. Relationships are mutually beneficial. Once it's not, there's no relationship. It doesn't matter about the
if
time.
you didn't sit and tell me, this is the
It
thing,
doesn't matter where we
especially
live.
if you
It
live in.
doesn't matter if we have kids. It doesn't matter. None of that. Once that shit is not mutually beneficial and you're not willing to do what you need to do to keep us together, the relationship is over. So that's not cheating because we ain't in a
If
relationship.
we're still together, let me tell you
Yeah.
something.
What are you talking
If
about?
you have not expressed to me that you don't want to be with me anymore, and we here living in the same house, even if you live over there and I live over here, and we've been together 5, 6, 7 years, and you have not told me I don't want to be in this relationship anymore, and you step out, you're cheating.
You're telling me you don't want to be with me when we have a discussion and you don't fulfill my needs.
But
I
that's not necessarily true. It could be something going on with that person.
again,
It's verbal communication. We're not talking about the exceptions. We know. I'm not talking about you broke your leg and you can't do. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about you just not doing what you're supposed to do. When you treat a person a certain kind of way, you are communicating with them. So y'all know how I get down. If I don't like a certain room, I exit the room. I don't sit there and do the goofy shit and play like everything's good. I'm out. I'm not communicating with
That
them.
will right now. If you was in the chat, if you was in a group and you sitting there playing with the goofy shit and conversating with somebody, but then you go out into some whole other shit, that's some two-faced and backstabbing shit. If you in a relationship and you hear hee hee ha ha and everything is okay, even with you explaining, but you're acting like everything is okay, but then you cheat, that's backstabbing and it's cheating.
Not acting like everything okay. So the scenario is we've already communicated and you're not doing what I want to do. So there's no everything's okay. Everything is not okay. That's why I'm going
But
out.
when you right, but not again, you if you're still in a relationship, even if everything is not okay, but you have not told me you don't want to be with me. You still even if I'm not giving you what it is that you're asking for, but you still come once in a while and ask for it, and maybe once in a blue I still give it. We are still in a relationship. You have not ended this. Problems, no problems, issues, no issues. You did not end this relationship. You did not tell me you did not want to be here and you stepped out. You cheated.
You're
You
you're
cheated. Issues or not,
you're
you still cheated because you did not say, I don't want to be here. The same way it was vice versa. If I sit and I go to you and I tell you I cheated, I tell you I stepped out, you're going to tell me I can't fuck with you. Why? Because you cheated.
That's not what I'm gonna say. I already
Come on,
addressed,
Shani.
I already addressed that scenario. I already addressed that scenario.
Let me tell you, a lot of the times, now one of the main things that happens, and I'm speaking from experience because I had the same issue in my marriage, okay? My favorite words is overtime. And a young mom that's so used to just working to pay my bills and to make sure my kids got what they got. There was a time that I wasn't paying attention to my husband. And I'm working 16, 17 hours sometimes a day. I'm working 6 days a week. I'm not giving him no type of attention. And my husband said, I think you love your job more than me. Now, if I would have sat and I would have never changed my schedule and I would have never sat and did anything to fix that so like that my husband could be okay, that would have I would have had to take accountability if he would have stepped out. Now I didn't realize that because in my mind, right, in my mind, my husband is proud of me. My husband can't sit and walk out in these streets and say that he has a lazy wife or a wife that doesn't take care of the kids. In my mind, I'm thinking I'm doing everything good. I'm doing everything right. My husband don't got a lazy wife. I come home, and when I come home, I cook, I clean, I'm working, I'm doing all of this, not realizing I'm not spending time with my husband.
Right.
So when my husband expressed that to me, and he said, and he told me, Tuti, I get that we got bills. I get that you got kids, but you're not by yourself anymore. So you don't have to work like that anymore. And I would be selfish, and I will have to take accountability. And I'll be like, nigga, I don't give a fuck. I still gotta work. I still got kids. I still gotta do this. And I didn't sit in and try to do something better for my husband, and he goes and leaves me. I gotta take accountability for that. I
Thank
gotta
you.
take accountability for it. But at the same time, I've got to make sure I'm doing what I have to do because again, like I was saying, I didn't in my mind, I'm thinking I'm doing everything right. I'm thinking I'm doing everything right. My again, in my mind, having a husband, I'm honored to have his last name. I'm honored that he wants me to have his last name. I don't want my husband to not feel like he gave his last name to somebody that wasn't worthy of it. So I
Mhm.
felt I gotta bust my ass. I gotta bust my ass to live up to this name. That's how I took it, not realizing what I thought was wrong. I felt he was expecting that from me, not realizing I was nowhere near what he was expecting.
That's
So
very
sometimes a woman, sometimes a person, and it goes for men too. We don't even know that we're not doing what it is that you're expecting us to do. That's why it has to be expressed. And if
right.
it is being expressed, it's up to the person to sit and do something about it. If you don't do anything about it, you have to take accountability for whatever happens after and deal with the consequences of those actions.
Right, but just to kind of add to what you're saying, understand that when a person is used to the hustle, I'm going to use the word hustle, right? Hustle. When it comes to being a mother, being the person that's working and hustling and paying bills and doing everything, right? A lot of times, like you said, the mindset is not on that particular aspect of the relationship, right? Because
Hmm.
we're grinding, right? if that's all you know, that's all you're gonna know.
That's all you know, right?
The truth. So when you have that conversation, sometimes it's hard for a person to hear certain things that's being said to them, right? That's why a lot of times when people have conversations, you find that it's like I'm repeating myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you think that when you're having a conversation and you're saying what you're saying, that the other person understands what you're saying, right? And what they say, sometimes people hear you to listen, and sometimes people hear you and
Just
don't
to
even
respond.
understand. Yeah, to respond and don't even understand what you're saying, right? So oftentimes you hear somebody say, "Well, I had the conversation and I told him," and if you ask the person what did they say, it'll say something like, I need you. What does that mean to the other person? You understand what I'm saying? Like, what
I'll
is
be like, that's all you heard? All you heard was I need you? That's it?
right? Or it could be something as simple as you sleeping so hard, and the person will kind of touch on you, and you don't even receive it because you're sleeping, and they don't realize that you're sleeping so hard. So now they're offended because you.
And you know what's funny? I've been through that. I've been through that where I felt rejected because I'm trying to wake somebody up and them niggas is knocked the fuck out.
What were you doing to wake him
Like,
up?
knocked
You
the
said,
fuck out sleep.
What were you doing to wake him up?
yo, I don't
What
know why I knew you was gonna ask that question.
What was you doing to wake
That's
him up?
irrelevant
Yeah, no, it's
I was doing stuff.
like,
stuff.
yeah, no, you should have tried something else.
So I
I
think
was
that
I won't have that conversation, but
right.
yeah,
No, you should have.
they just have some people are just they again. I thought it was rejection, but it was just that nigga's a heavy fucking sleeper.
Sometimes it's
That nigga
about,
sleep heavy. Nigga
but
probably thought he was dreaming getting that shit.
sometimes it's a it's a it's
Oh,
a
I
it's a
know what you're doing.
perception. And sometimes it's a perception, right? What do you perceive when a person is giving you what they're giving you, right? If a person is used to being treated a certain way, right, it becomes a norm, right? And if something is remotely close to what they're used to, then it takes them right back into what they know, right? So when it comes to accountability, I think that a lot of times people just don't understand what that looks like and what that means. And a lot of times it comes from, pride, ego, and not wanting to deal with the consequences of what transpires after the action that caused the person to do something, right? Like you said, I mean, I agree with cause and effect. I just don't agree with if we in a marriage and I reject you and I don't give you what you want, you step out, it's my fault, and you want to exit the building because it's my fault. Did you try to figure out what my problem was? Did we have an in-depth conversation? What was the conversation? What did you say to me that I automatically know that you need me? What was your language? Like, I think that it's important to know what the conversation looks like and what's really being said to know if I understand or not, right? To know if I'm clear on what it is that you're saying, right? Because you have situations where a person, sorry, where a person is constantly, like saying things, but not being clear about what it is what they want. Mixed signals, miscommunication, and not clear about exactly what it is they want. So in those situations, you're not gonna get you're not gonna ultimately know what it is that a person actually want from you, right? They assume that you understand what they're saying.
If we got married and you still don't understand me, then we never should have got married.
I
Really?
think that I think after there's a
If we at the point where
you
we're
have to have some type of limit. There has to be some type of limit on how much I'm gonna repeat myself to you on what it is that I need, and you can't get it. And I've done said this shit 500 times, and you still don't get it. And I know for a fact I've said it clear. I'm not throwing no subs. I'm not doing this. I'm telling you, I need dick 7 days a week, or I need attention 15 minutes out of the month. And I'm saying it nice and clear where even a kindergarten can understand. And I'm repeating it more. Nah, I'm not doing
Fifth
that.
grader.
Yeah.
Right, because then you have to understand that sometimes if you are communicating, your communication is
Hmm.
clear, then what is it really about? Some people just, maybe a person just doesn't care or don't
Right,
have
and
any
that's the
desire to
only
do
way
what it is that you
that
want them to do.
yeah, and I
Or
feel
maybe
that's
just
the
a
only
person is just
way.
stubborn, right? Some people is
Hmm.
just stuck in their ways and trying to get them to understand who you are or break from what they used to is hard. And again, I believe that it takes a lifetime to get to know a person, right? I believe that people change with seasons. I believe that people change with age, emotion, hormones. All those things play a factor in how people react to certain things, right?
Mhm.
Your mind, as the older you get, the more your mind changes and you don't remember things like that. So I do think that sometimes when the communication is there, or maybe it's just not enough, sometimes you got to go back to the table and repeat. Sometimes you got to go back to the table and be more clear. Maybe perhaps I wasn't clear with what I said. Did you understand what I said? What did you get from what I said? You understand what I'm saying? And some people don't have the patience for that. Some people just be like, I'm too old for that. I don't got time for it. But the reality is, sometimes the communication is real. It has to be in depth.
If I sit and I tell you something that I need, and you go and you tell me I don't have time for that, I'm out. I'm out. Like, how you don't got time to sit and try to at least
I
do
mean,
something enough, like to sit and say I don't have time for that. That's basically saying you're not even gonna try to make an effort. So
I
once
think.
you sit and you tell me I don't have time for that, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna like, all right, heard you.
Well, I think so. What I believe, and this is just kind of, and I think we can agree that everyone should be held accountable for their actions, right? And that people should have a point where they're able to acknowledge a role that they play in situations that don't have a good turnout, or even just have a positive turnout, right? Whether it's work, personal, friends, relationship,
Crime.
marriage, you should be able to own your responsibility and the role in any situation. And if you're wrong, say you're wrong. If you know that you did the right thing, then acknowledge that, right? But sometimes you have to be willing to understand it within yourself, right? And the things that we do so that we can hold ourselves accountable for our behaviors and the things that we do and the things that we don't do, right? Because in order for us to be able to want someone else to hold themselves accountable for something that they've done to us, we need to understand what being held accountable and being accountable for oneself is.
Yeah,
We could agree with that.
I could agree with that. I got a scenario though before we go, right? And this is outside of relationships when it comes to accountability.
Mhm.
I'm a mom who has a son who's in jail for murder, right? I have a mom who's in jail for has a son who's in jail for murder. Now my son, there's proof that he did the murder. They have evidence. They have everything that he did the murder. But I keep wasting all of my money, right? I keep wasting all of my money to hire these attorneys to get all of this stuff done for my son to be proven innocent of this murder. All the attorneys and the lawyers that I sit and I get, they keep saying he's guilty, he's guilty, he's guilty. There's nothing that we could do. He's guilty. Now, as a mom, I'm $50,000 in debt. Now I want to blame my son for this. Who's accountable for that? Who's accountable for her being in debt and about to lose her house and everything?
Both of them.
Why?
He's accountable for keeping for doing the murder, and she's accountable for being dumb enough to not listen to professional lawyers and start spending her money and just get a public defender and take a cop out.
So now she doesn't seem I don't seem to understand that my son needs to take accountability and deal with the consequences of his actions. And now that I'm in debt and I'm about to lose my house and everything, now I want to blame him for that. I want to blame him for me being in debt and for me losing my house because I had to spend all this money and do all of this stuff for the lawyers and stuff so he could get out of jail when all they told me there's nothing that they could do. Do you feel she has to take accountability for that?
She definitely has to take some accountability for it. She has to. The reality is this, right? If her son committed a crime, right, and she put forth some effort to assist him, and now I'm for whatever reason she has to hire more than one attorney, right? Did you think that she was going to get a different response from a different attorney? That's one. Secondly, How is he being held accountable for his actions? Right?
by being in jail.
I'm talking about from his parent, his mother.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say. Do
So
you like she?
so
Yeah.
so my thing is, and I think and it could very much be the fact that the justice system is the way it is, and a lot of people have absolutely no faith in it, right?
Mhm.
Um, the justice system allows people to be wrong and strong, and it also allows to put people that are innocent in prison, and it also allows people to be able to fight a fight even when they're guilty. So, I mean, as a mother, she may just have wanted to do whatever it is she needs to do to get her son out, but there has to be boundaries and levels to it, and she should have known that at some point she had to stop, right? Because he's where he's at, he got 3 hots in a cot, right? She can't. What's gonna
And
happen
they
if she
got
loses her
proof.
house? Huh?
And they
What'd you
got
say?
proof that he did it.
So I mean, I think that they both. I do think both of should be held accountable. But I think that in regards to her and her finances and her being able to, and be in a position where she's losing her house, she made a choice. She made a choice, and she made that choice as a mother for her son, and that is her right, right? But you can't blame him because you made a choice because you want to get your child out, or you wanted to find an attorney that was going to help your family situation for the better because you believe in your heart that you can find an attorney that's going to help your son.
Now I could see that situation. I could see me trying to find an attorney to sit and help him get like a deal or something, right? If you sit and you out here, there's proof that my son committed this murder. I'm not gonna kill myself to find a lawyer to prove that he didn't do it when there's proof that he did, right? So
Hmm.
I'm like, and this is a real situation. Like this is a real situation that's happening right now. And what I keep saying is that you can't blame your son because from the beginning, first two lawyers, the first lawyer that he got before you even hired a lawyer, because that's the public defender. You understand what I'm saying? Sat and said, I usually tell people to get a lawyer for certain things when it comes like this, so like that you guys could get a better deal, whatever, because you know these public defenders they shit. But they like, nigga, look it, he did it. That's your son. It's evident that that's your son. You trying to find lawyers to prove that he's innocent. So I'm like, you can't you losing your house because of you. Because you know that your son did it. Now if you were sitting here getting lawyers to help him get a better deal or something, I could understand that. But you in the shithole that you're in because you're trying to find lawyers to help your son prove that he's innocent when the proof is that he killed that person.
I mean, they got. I mean, I think that again, denial is
Mm-hmm.
real. You know what I'm saying? Denial is real.
Uh-huh.
What to what extent did the proof give was given to her for her to see it, right, or to believe it, right? But even as a parent, sometimes as a mother, you don't want your child to ever think that she stopped fighting for them.
Uh-huh.
Child.
You gotta cut your losses. I mean, I don't know the details of the scenario, but if I'm the son and I know I did it, I would tell my mother, stop getting me lawyers. I'm gonna just
Stop
get the
getting me these lawyers, exactly.
I'm gonna just get the I'm gonna just take the deal. I mean, if you man enough to go out there, and again, it depends on the circumstance, but if you man enough to go out there and catch a body, you got to know the consequences of what you're doing
Your
if you're gonna
actions,
do it.
exactly.
So you got to be ready to grit and bear it, be like, listen, man, don't give me a lawyer. Like I'm good.
And now I'm gonna keep it, man. Like this is not and we we can sit and go, so people can have a better understanding to why I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? One, this is not a kid. This is a man that is 32 years old. You understand what I'm saying? 32 years old, gang banging all his life, doing stupid stuff all his life, doing all of this stuff, and went and caught a body. You know what I'm saying? Now, as a mom, you,
Allegedly,
uh, huh?
allegedly caught a
Don't
body.
stop. Don't be like his mother.
He's
Don't
not
be like his
convicted.
mother.
He's not
Don't be.
convicted.
It doesn't matter if he's not convicted. You did it. You
You
did
usually
it.
get a lawyer. You usually get a lawyer in those kind of cases when it's like a self defense or something like yeah, I did it, but this is why I did it. If it's something like that, then you go ahead and get a lawyer and try to fight. That's the only way they get a better deal. But if it's a stone cold murder one case where it's no remorse,
Mhm.
premeditation, you're not getting
Mhm.
out of that. So it depends on the intimate details.
Right.
His background sounds shady, and and it depends on who he killed. You could kill a street dude. I had this dude do 10 years for murder because they catch a manslaughter charge because they killed another
Mhm.
black man that ain't shit. They don't care about that. They'll let you do 10 years, come out and hope you kill another one. But
Mhm.
you out here killing civilians and all this other goofy ass shit, they're gonna fry you.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing. But that's definitely an interesting topic, and I think that that's something we definitely could be more further unpacked, right? Because sometimes we just don't understand the mind of others and why they do the things that they do, and put themselves in situations that could pretty much harm them or put them in a bind that
Mhm.
can be difficult to get out of, right? And then oftentimes when they do make these decisions, they're not able to hold themselves accountable. They put the blame on somebody else instead of understanding that you ultimately are in control of you, right? You make decisions for you, right? And for every decision you make, there's either a good thing outcome or you know uh, negative, positive, right? So with that being said, understand that it's important to know how to take accountability for the things that you do. It's important to understand that once you learn how to hold yourself accountable for things that you do, you can understand and see how it's important for others to hold themselves accountable for what the things that they do, right? It'll make the communication better, and it'll help you understand yourself more, right? Sometimes being able to take accountability can put you in a better space in life, right? Put you in a better space and a better mindset to move forward when it comes
Fuck.
to any
Fuck.
circumstances that you're in, right? So with that, we have unpacked that. Now, accountability can be discussed for weeks and weeks and weeks because there's so many scenarios, so many situations we can bring up about who hasn't, who have not, who don't understand why they play a role in any situation and circumstances. But that's not what we're going to do tonight. We we have taken up a lot of your time, and we appreciate everyone who took the time out to listen, share their thoughts, and continue to support. Let's unpack that after dark. So I thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and tell a friend. Tell a friend. Come see us. We'll be here next Friday. We will be changing our day soon, but we're just trying to figure out when that day will be. So until then, make sure you check Good Brunching with Mika, Bill, and Ace.
And
And
the
we're
Angry
gonna
Producer, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1 p.m. to the Good Brunching Podcast.
right. And also next Sunday, check out the car show. Is it a
Yes. At Cash is, what is it? Is Inglewood?
Inglewood, New Jersey.
yeah,
Inglewood, New
we
Jersey
have a
is
car show in Inglewood, New Jersey. Come bring the kids, bring the family event. We got food trucks.
There's food trucks, vendors, performances, there's
Hmm.
painters, there's a lot of vendors that's gonna sit and be there May 19th for the car show. We're gonna post the flyers if anybody's interested, so like that you guys can see
Hmm.
and just come out and enjoy, have fun.
Right. If you have any questions
From
or any
11 to
topics,
5.
what time?
11 to 5.
11 to 5. If you have any questions or topics you want us to discuss on Let's Unpack That After Dark, please send me an email at Let's Unpack That27 at gmail.com. You can hit me up on Instagram, Let's Unpack That27, Facebook, Let's Unpack That27, and YouTube, Let's Unpack That27. So until next week, you guys be safe, be blessed, and take care.
All right. Peace.
Namaste.